Okay, so we're separated into two sides right now. Over here we've got the lady side. You guys will be arguing that the man chooses the door with the lady in it. And over here we've got the tiger side, and you guys will be arguing that the man chooses the door with the tiger in it. And we'll be debating back and forth, trying to figure out which door the man actually chooses, using evidence from the story. That's the important part, using the textual evidence. All right. Let me just get you started and focus your attention to the fourth paragraph of the story. Let's follow along and I'll read it out loud. When a subject was accused of a crime of sufficient importance to interest the king, public notice was given that on an appointed day the fate of the accused person would be decided in the king's arena, a structure which well deserved its name, for, although its form and plan were borrowed from afar, its purpose emanated solely from the brain of this man, who, every barleycorn a king, knew no tradition to which he owed more allegiance than pleased his fancy, and who engrafted on every adopted form of human thought and action the rich growth of his barbaric idealism. What does that mean, barbaric idealism? It's not a phrase we hear every day. Barbaric idealism. Let's flip it around. What does it mean to be an ideal barbarian? What does the word barbarian mean to you when I say that? Cynthia, what does barbarian mean to you? Someone who kills people? Okay, yeah, I can agree with that. Barbarians are usually seen as murderers, right? Keith, how about you? What's a barbarian to you? Someone who doesn't care about hurting people's feelings. Okay, yeah, they're very cruel, right? All right, Michelle, what do you think? Savage and cruel. Those are really good words. Savage, cruel, doesn't care about hurting people's feelings, right? Todd, what about you? Primitive. Primitive is a good word, right? When we think of barbarians, we're usually talking about people who lived a long time ago. Not always, but generally that's sort of the case. And Kelly, do you have anything else? Impulsive, that's a good word. Yeah, they act without thinking, right? It goes back to the cruelty, killings. If you're killing people, you're probably not thinking about it too much. Okay, good. So we have a decision in this story, right? The lady or the tiger. Who's ultimately responsible for making the decision? The princess, right? The princess is the one with the information. So in order to understand what decision she makes, we need to understand a little bit more about the princess, right? So let's go to where we're introduced to the princess. Where are we first introduced to the princess? Looks like the second page, top of the third section. The first sentence here, let's read it. This semi-barbaric king had a daughter as blooming as his most florid fancies, and with a soul as fervent and imperious as his own. Okay, stop. So we've got one sentence, and that's our introduction to the princess. So what do we know about her? She's blooming, yeah, okay. She's probably pretty like a flower. What else? Yeah, her soul is as fervent and imperious as the king's. What does fervent mean? Yeah, exactly. Fervent is sort of like very passionate and intensely passionate about something. What about imperious? Anybody? Imperious is sort of like dominant, taking power without necessarily being given power. Think of the Imperio curse in Harry Potter, right? You say Imperio and you can control people's thoughts and actions. Sort of the same idea, right? If you're imperious, you're domineering, you take control and power. Okay, perfect. And the king is mentioned also in this first sentence, the semi-barbaric king. So the daughter takes after the semi-barbaric king. Her soul is just like his. Okay, interesting. So we've got a semi-barbaric, fervent, imperious, and also blooming and pretty princess sending the man to either a lady or a tiger. So what side might we lean on using this information? Tiger side? What do you guys have to say? Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. So she's cruel, she's impulsive, fervent, imperious, barbaric. She's probably sending the guy to the tiger, right? She doesn't want the guy to marry some other woman, so she's going to kill him off. And that's her barbaric nature. Her soul is calling her to do that. All right. Do you agree over here, lady side? Interesting. She's semi-barbaric, it says. That's the key prefix, right? Semi. So if she's only semi-barbaric, exactly, exactly. She can't be the ideal barbarian that we talked about earlier, right? So let's take out our charts, our lady and the tiger charts. On the lady side, everyone should be writing this down, no matter what side you're on. On the lady side, you can write down she's only semi-barbaric, which means she can't be the ideal barbarian that was thought of for the arena, right? The arena is for the ideal barbarian purpose. On the tiger side, however, we can write down the quotations that we looked at. Um, Soul as fervent and imperious as the king's. You write that down. She's still barbaric, right? Even if it's semi-barbaric, that's probably more barbaric than most people would want to be, right? So write that down on the tiger side. And now we've got evidence. So it's down to you to make up your mind which side is more compelling. So let's go continue on with evidence that you found, and we'll go from there.